1-0.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Chris with Carve CNC and CNC for Newbies coming at you live with a cool little lesson today. I'm going to go through some tool pathing, some tools, and give you guys a little insight on how I build 3D carved furniture on the CNC machines. My CNC machines are CNC for Newbies brand machines. I typically use a 4896 cut. It actually cuts 50 inches by 101 inches, but you can use the same setup on your CNC machine. You may just have to tile it and do things a little bit different, based on your machine size, and you may have to use different tooling based on your machine capabilities. We've done a lot of stuff like that in the past, a lot of talks about that in the past. But this will give you a good insight into what's cracking and how you do that. J-Mac, what's up, man? How are you? So let's first off, let's sit here and take a look at what we're going to be doing. Let's see here. Expand that out. Present, share screen, window, and I haven't been doing StreamYard in so long, it's a little hard to remember how I did this. So this is the 3D carved flower table. I've done this before. It was a big hit. I've done this in kit pieces where I actually carve the legs, carve the side pieces, carve the top, and then send it off, and people finish it themselves in terms of drilling their own dowel hole locations. That was actually a real big hit. I have a customer outside of Atlanta that he runs a furniture shop, and he loved it. He ended up selling it for just about $3,000, which is huge money for a kit, Now, I can't take credit for this design. This was a design that I saw in a video, and I'll show you right now. Good. J Max says, good, thanks, hope you are well. Jay, I am doing all right. I woke up, I'm alive, I'm breathing, and I'm upright, and we are teaching the world how to use those CNC machines, so I am good. So let's close out of this, and I'm going to open up a YouTube page, and I'm going to show you the video that you can go to. Let's see here, right there. Okay. This is the YouTube video for the Ukrainian company that are Ukrainian people that originally I saw build this table. I thought it was an awesome table that they built. I followed along, and I started doing a deep dive into the internet to find out where they got the file from, if they made the file, if they got the file. And it turns out they actually got the file from a free upload on the internet. It was just a free STL upload, but it had a lot of problems. So I went out, I found the file, I imported it it had a lot of holes. It had just a lot of imperfections. The design of it was, parts of it were designed and then mirrored on both parts. So like they would design on the right side and then mirror that part of the design to the left side. Well, when they mirrored it, it would not be in a watertight setup. So there were just a lot of holes, and solids were actually inside out and everything. Um, and because of that, I had a real hard time getting to the finished product that I wanted. So I went ahead and used that and then rebuilt the model off of the information that they had already available. And I used Mesh Mixer, which is a free AutoCAD software, and went through it that way. Um, and you can tell that there are whose file that is used for the base product, because even in here you see these little imperfections in the wood. That's not actually a wood imperfection. That's actually an imperfection in the model. And I noticed that because the imperfection is actually in my model, in my renderings. And you just have to take some time to sit there and hand sand it or machine sand it out. But this is the video that I used to understand how they put the table together and what they were doing, how they were doing it, and everything like that. So it kind of was an introduction to how they put together 3D car furniture. And by watching the video and looking at what they were doing, I realized how they were putting stuff together, how they were joining it and everything like that. And I kind of taught myself how to do 3D car furniture joinery, because I never really built fine furniture before. Um, and, it just kind of worked out. And you go from there. So if you go on to YouTube and you search, I think I searched CNC carved table was what I searched whenever I first found this. This was years ago. I followed Ilya. The gentleman's name is Ilya Bakata. Vitali, one of the big 3D modelers on Facebook. He's worked with him. They have, it's kind of like a family or close friends group over there, and each of them kind of have their own YouTube channel. So you'll see a lot of the same stuff from a different perspective on how they do this stuff. So I highly recommend you guys go out and see these YouTube channels, because you can learn a lot of stuff just by looking at them. So we'll close out of that. And now we'll open up this and I'll do a screen share of this. Okay. So as you can see here, we have, this is a Spire 11. And this is the 3D model, the STL version of the table pieces. And they are just about a little over 5 inches tall. And if I go to here, so it's 5 1/4 by 27. So that's how big it is. So I'll actually have to get a 2x8 board to cut this. because the Z height of it is 1.5 inches, and that gives me a little bit of play for the modeling. And if you take a look here, this will show you dimensional boards, their sizes, and 5.5 is a 2x6. So if I go to a 2x8, it'll be 7.5 wide. I'll cut it at about 30 inches long. That'll give me enough to secure it down. It'll give me enough to secure it on the sides, and then it'll be 1.5 inches thick. So that'll give me my material to actually have the end mills go back and forth and cut it, right? And you can see that this rectangle right here represents the 2x8 board for the short length. Here are the long lengths. I won't flatten it on the joiner. I'll probably just chop saw it to size, cut it, and then I'll chop saw another one to size. And then I'll go back, and whenever I do these, I'll probably split those into two tool paths each, so that I can like run them for 8 hours and then give the spindle a break, and then run them for 8 hours and give the spindle a break. Okay. And do it that way. But one of the things that I did, let's see here, we got some people commenting. We got J Mac with love face. He comments the Festival Domino. Bobby Price says, good afternoon. He's just hopping on, which is cool. Thank you very much. So let's talk about some of the tooling for this project. I typically try to use Sky One tooling for a lot of my projects. I like their tooling. It's an inexpensive tool for the quality of tool that you get. I break them. I'm not mad, but I rarely ever break them. They're stout. The edges last a long time on them and everything like that. The downside, they don't have long reach 3D carving tools for 1/8 inch. They do have a long reach 1/4 inch, but I was already buying tools. So buy tools and have them shipped in. I just went ahead and bought in one area. So I bought Amana tools. I have a 2-flute 1/4 inch upcut. And the reason why I use an upcut is because it pulls the chips out of the pocket. And then I have an 1/8 inch 3-flute upcut ball nose. Okay, this is the Amana 46577, which is 2-flute 1/4 inch. And then I have the 46295, which is the 3-flute ball nose. Okay. And both of these have 1.5 inch cutting heights, and they have a little bit extra on the fluting to give you a little bit extra room to clear the chips at 1.5 inches. So just so you know what I'm looking at when I do that. And the reason why I chose that was because there are some spots in the model where the 1/8 inch is going to have to go all the way down through. There are a few hole pockets that around the flower areas and the ribbons that actually go all the way through the model to the back of the wood. And so the 1/8 inch has to have that full length cut. And then this 1/4 inch is actually what's going to give me my edge on the profile and everything. So I have to make sure that this has a minimum of 1.5 inch cut, which it does, and it'll cut through and go from there. So let's go back to the setup here. We'll go to the 3D, or let's go to the 2D. I'm going to click on profile, and whenever I did this, I do my profiles in 3 steps. I usually do a roughing profile about 1/4 inch outside of what I want. And then I do a profile that is roughly about 20 thousandths bigger than my wanted finish edge. And then I do my finish cut. Sometimes I'll leave it a little bit more, but I already know I'm going to have to do some handwork on this. So I want to kind of go right up to the edge, and then I'll hand finish it from there. And we'll see what we have. So that's what this 1/4 inch bit is going to be used for. I went on the inside of this vector line here, and I'll pull that up. I went 485, 1.485 deep. And the reason why I did that was I wanted to leave a little bit of onion skin so that as I did my next 2 profile cuts, it actually stabilized the wood a little bit more. I also did that on my my first finishing pass, and that keeps the wood from kind of shifting around, bowing up and everything. And by doing that, whenever I come in for my last pass, I'll actually be able to go through and then cut all the way through on the last pass, just leaving the tabs holding this piece of wood. Because when I start hogging out for the actual design, it's not going to be a lot of pressure on the wood itself. So I'm not really worried about it. And that's why I do that. So there you go. But yeah, so what I'll probably do is change my profiles. I'll probably run this profile here. I'll probably run all the profiles after the roughing and finishing, and then go from there. That's probably where I'll go with it. Just because as I go through, the 1/4 inch bit in the roughing will go over the edge a little bit and clean everything up. But outside of that, that is how I set it up for the profiles. My roughing, I did a selected vector. I did a boundary vector on this. I did a 10 thousandths machining allowance, which basically gives any type of deflection or anything about 10 thousandths play. I did a 3D roster at a -45-degree angle. And then my finishing, I did a select vector. I did an offset path. And the reason why I did the offset path rather than a roster is because with all the detail in this, I wanted the offset so that it put different facets on different edges as it went through the process. So that's the machining strategy. And now all that's left to do is actually machine the parts. So we'll do that. Then we'll go from there and do the legs. Figure this will probably take about it'll probably take about a week to do the whole table on one machine. I could run it straight through. My wife and daughter wouldn't be very happy with me because the router is in a garage attached to the house, so you hear it roughing and everything. So I can't really run my router 24/7 like I used to, which is kind of upsetting, but it is what it is. So now with everything said and done, we'll reset this. We'll do the roughing pass, and as you guys can see, it'll go right up to the edge, but not over the edge. Then we'll do let's play that again. There we go. Right up to the edge, but not over it. Then we'll do the finishing. That looks really good. And then now we'll do profile outside, profile closer, and then we'll do the finish profile. And that's what it will look like. I'll nip those tabs and we should be pretty good. I'll have to do a little finish work on these edges. And then I'll mix up some Tight Bond 2 with some sawdust, and I'll put some dowels in there, and then I'll mix up some Tight Bond 2 and sawdust, and I'll actually put the legs in, and that will fill any gaps for the legs. That's it. All right. So that's how I do it. And I will holler at you guys later. Peace.